When there's snow on every other trail, Bell's Mountain is usually in pretty good shape. If you're getting tired of only getting to ride half of Sandy Ridge or Cold Creek because there's rotten snow heaped all over the best parts of the trail, or maybe you can't do yet another road ride this winter, then you need to consider taking a ride on Bell's Mountain. Never heard of it, you say? Well, how about that? Not too many have. Starting at the lower parking lot of the Cold Creek Trail, also known as the Yakult Burn Trailhead, and running along Rock Creek and then up Bell's Mountain and down to Molten Falls, the Bell's Mountain Trail was meant to take advantage of the gorgeous views available up and down Dole Valley, as well as add some important trail mileage near Portland that isn't Dog Mountain, Eagle Creek, or Tom, Dick, and Harry. So, Bell's was a 90s project, and it's been under threat from motos, excessive clear cuts, and overall neglect ever since. Well, don't let that happen, because Bell's Mountain is an awesome ride, mostly. It's mostly an awesome ride. This trail is kind of two-faced. It's either the best experience you can have in the Tarbell area, or it's the worst, and it's entirely dependent on what day you ride it. More on that later. You get to Bell's Mountain by driving to the Cold Creek Campground. You get to the Cold Creek Campground by plugging it into your GPS navigator before you leave internet coverage. Don't plan on depending on signs, because the high-class citizenry that lives around here can't seem to resist shooting down road signs. If you're heading north on the L1000 road, take a left on this road that's about 1/8 of a mile before the L1200. When you get to the end of this road, turn right. When you get to the sign for the Cold Creek Campground, keep going down to the Cold Creek Day Use area. Park here. Ride to the pavilion and pick up the trail there. If you don't want to ride the accessible trail, then ride past the entrance of the pavilion and ride Bell's proper. It doesn't really matter. If you're doing this right, you'll end up at this bridge that has next to this waterfall. You're heading north on Bell's Mountain today. Just ride the thing as an out and back and quit whining. You don't have eyes in the back of your head anyway, so it's a different trail on the way back in. You're still whining. I can hear it. Stop whining. Just ride it as an out and back. The best time to ride Bell's is late summer through late fall, right before the snow falls, all the way through winter if it's not frozen, straight through to the beginning of spring, the second before all the bracken, ferns, and berry vines and the clear cuts take over and make riding this thing a living nightmare straight out of Little Shop of Horrors. Seriously, it's like you can literally see the plants growing. The undergrowth here might as well be carnivorous, but you're not going to worry about that now, are you? No, because you're smart and you're going to ride this trail during its peak season, which is when all the other trails are still hibernating under rotten snow, because the high point of this ride is only 1,500 feet above sea level and it starts way down at 900 feet. But don't be fooled, because there are some undulations along the way. So you easily end up climbing over 2,000 feet on this ride. I would call this non-trivial. This isn't your typical hard work, high reward wizard hat enduro trail. This is a cross-country trail with some seriously fun downhill sections. You can ride any bike you dang well please on this trail. Do what you want, buddy. The world is your oyster. Ride a hardtail, ride a fully rigid, ride your enduro or your single-speed fat bike. It doesn't matter. You're all going to suffer. A lot. You're also going to have a lot of fun, because it seems like no matter what's happening with the other trails, as long as there hasn't been snow in the valleys in the last couple of weeks, there's always hero dirt to be found on Bell's Mountain Trail. So, after you depart from the Cold Creek Day Use area, the trail follows Rock Creek for the first 2.2 miles. This part of the trail is gorgeous, old mossy forest, slick, tight, and punchy. Heading north, it's mostly downhill, and it's a screaming good time. There's a lot of bridges in this section. Seriously, it's like bridge after bridge after bridge in here, and they're all slippery. Bell's Mountain is all about the bridges. All these bridges represent a long-term maintenance challenge and another one of the fiercest existential threats to this trail. Ride it, hike it, love it, or lose it. Because with its current usage numbers and lack of advocates, once these now 20-year-old bridges start rotting out, this trail's a goner unless someone adopts it. I hate to sound like a downer here, but use it or lose it, folks. Eventually, the trail pulls away from Rock Creek and runs sort of halfway up the ridge line. Here's where it cuts through clear cut after clear cut after clear cut. These clear cuts are the sole reason this trail is not usable in the summer, because without the shade of trees, the lower growing underbrush takes off like a rocket and obliterates the trail in bracken and sticker bushes for mile after miserable mile. The timber companies aren't on the hook for buffing out trails that go through the land they harvest. That's a cost they've successfully externalized to recreational users, so we need more volunteers to join the Evergreen Southwest crew that is trying to get in here and keep this clear. The trail crosses a couple of old logging roads as it heads north. The hardest place to find the trail is at this road right here. Turn right and go down the hill to rejoin the trail on your right and keep going. Eventually, you'll come to this second big metal bridge. From here, it's a 600-foot climb over 1.5 miles to the summit of the trail. You ride up through this pretty new clear cut to this random patch of trees and you stop. That's it. The trail does continue, dropping 900 feet over another 1.5 miles down to Molten Falls, but you don't want to do that. That's pure torture. Don't do that to yourself. Save yourself some hell for the afterlife. Now, say what you want about what a dumb idea clear cuts are, but they sure do open up stunning territorial views. I mean, just look at this. So enjoy. After eating lunch or dinner or snack, turn around right here instead of dropping all the way to the falls. Now's where the real fun starts for about 90 seconds. The downhill from the top of this clear cut back down to the creek is primo, hero, fantastic, best ever, fabulous. You'll love it. Now, I've had quasi-religious experiences on this trail for inexplicable reasons, and here is one of the places where it's happened. Now, when you get back to the creek, you'll realize just how much you were going downhill on the way in. This last 2 miles is the hardest part of the whole ride because these climbs are punchy. They hurt. Bells hits harder than its 11.8 miles and 2,000 feet of climbing suggest because nothing is easy on this trail, especially not this section. But you'll love it anyway. Here's the thing about Bell's Mountain. If you didn't enjoy it, you need to come back and ride it again. It's really 50-50 with this trail. Either it's the best ride of your life, or it sends you home swearing. So come give it a shot. The best part is you can give it a shot after work. You can ride as far as you want, and then just ride on back to the car when you think it's going to get dark. Now, I hope that your first time on this trail is your best time. Now don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you enjoy these videos. Now get out there and go ride your bike.